France's history dates back thousands of years. Naturally, there are many ancient ruins in the area. Strange graveyards hide inside kindergartens. Some towns even turn out to be lost cities, and some villages hold secret codes. Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we will be talking about archaeological mysteries of France. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. History has a shadowy aspect as well. The violence of ancient France left a frightening trail in the archaeological record, from bound bodies to massacres. Let's begin with our list of archaeological mysteries of France. 1. Oldest Muslim graves. Around 20 burials were found during Nimes excavations in 2016. The graves discovered among Roman remains were too disorganized to be a cemetery. 3 unexpected people were also discovered after further research. There were some hints that the medieval graves were Muslim. Their tombs had socket shapes like other Muslim cemeteries, and their faces were pointed toward Mecca. Around the Mediterranean and the Iberian Peninsula, the Arab Islamic conquest of medieval times left historical imprints. Muslim burials have already been discovered in France, in Marseille and Montpellier. However, the graves at Nimes were dug between the 7th and 9th centuries, whereas those burials dated to the 12th and 13th centuries respectively. They became France's oldest Muslim burials as a result. 2. The kindergarten bones. A group of toddlers' playtime in 2006 took a horrific turn. The cops were called after an adult saw the children removing human bones from the ground. It was discovered that the kindergarten at Saint-Laurent-Médoc was built on top of an old burial mound. Archaeologists discovered 30 skeletons that most likely belonged to the Belle Beaker civilization, a Bronze Age ethnic group. The so-called Le Tumulus de Sable burial mound was the subject of a recent investigation which uncovered an intriguing riddle. For an unexplained cause, humans visited the mound to bury their dead for 2,000 years, 3600 BC to 1250 BC. Archaeologists are still trying to understand why the plain, unadorned site was occupied for a long time. According to the research, only 6 people were identified as belonging to the Belle Beaker culture. They appeared to have been natives from birth, which was unexpected. Most Belle Beaker artifacts show people that were continually traveling around Europe. 3. Shackled skeletons. 2014 saw the return of researchers to a cemetery they had discovered in 2013. Near the village of Saintes, the cemetery was built by the Romans centuries ago. The team found hundreds of graves, some of which included chained people. Furthermore, they were not simply handcuffed briefly. Iron chains were permanently bonded around the ankles of 3 males. Another adult was dressed in a metal bondage collar, the gender of which was unknown. This kind of constraint looked like a big ring around the neck that was fastened. Sadly, a child's body displayed identical treatment. The child had been bound around the wrist and buried. 4. The Arago tooth. Valentin Lescher volunteered at an excavation in 2015. The 20-year-old was deployed to the southwest France location of Arago Cave. The legendary Totevel man, a Neanderthal progenitor who perished some 450,000 years ago, had already been created at the location. Lescher discovered big human teeth while cleaning up dirt. Even while a single snapper may seem useless, it is very helpful. The deterioration of a fossil tooth can give information about a person's diet and health. DNA can add genetic information like gender and ethnicity to teeth containing it. Future research may be able to identify the person who lost the teeth, but dating tests revealed that it was roughly 560,000 years old. 5. The Aurochs slab. France is home to many historic rock shelters. Archaeologists used their expertise on a shelter in the southwest of the nation in 2012. They discovered a block of limestone on the cave floor while exploring it. They turned the object over, revealing what might be some of the oldest artwork in Europe. An artist depicted the now extinct aurochs cattle about 38,000 years ago. Additionally, the person added dozens of dots. The choice to excavate at the Aubry Blanchard cave was made based on the fact that the area and the shelter itself had previously generated carved slabs and artwork. The first Homo sapiens to reach Europe would have found shelter there during the winter at Aubry Blanchard. One of them, the Aurignacians, would also be credited with developing the Dotty aurochs. 6. The hidden fossil. In 2014, a farmer discovered something unexpected not far from Toulouse. The massive head was similar to that of an elephant. However, the fossil had 4 tusks instead of an elephant's 2. He decided to keep the discovery a secret out of concern that amateur fossil hunters might trample on his land. However, he approached the town's Natural History Museum a few years later. The enthusiastic staff correctly recognized the fossil as Gomphotherium pyrenaicum, a relative of the elephant with 2 tusks as typical and an additional pair that protruded from its lower jaw. 7. The secret code. Plougastel-Daoulas is a village located in northwest France. Someone strolling along a nearby beach discovered a rock with carvings a few years ago. A heart and a sailing ship were among the symbols. Some of the letters were difficult to read. However, everything seemed like it needed to be clarified. There are a few facts. The chiseled lines, which are only discernible during low tide, were made some 230 years ago. The years 1786 and 1787, both of which were engraved into the rock, were used to determine the age. To defend a nearby fort, artillery batteries were being built at that time. It still needs to be evident if there is a connection between the builders and the riddle. 8. The body pit. In 2012, archaeologists discovered 60 silos or ground-dug trenches. One pit was horrifying and was located next to Bergheim, a French hamlet close to the German border. The approximately 6,000-year-old silo was filled with human remains, including 7 bodies, amputated arms, fingers, and hands. Whatever horrific incident occurred, children were not exempt. A kid between 12 and 16 had one of his arms chopped off. One body belonged to a little infant who had just turned a year old, and 4 of the remains were those of children. A middle-aged man met an especially brutal demise. His limb was severed, and he had taken multiple hits, including a violent head swipe that almost certainly resulted in his death. The 2-meter, 6.5-foot deep pit's bottom contained the man's remains. Things appeared a little differently at the top. It appears that the silo was once more utilized as a cemetery hundreds of years after the massacre. 9. A fire-preserved neighborhood. In Sainte-Colombe, a neighborhood was chosen in 2017 for a brand new housing development. Archaeologists were required to survey the region first as per regular procedure, and what they discovered was remarkable. A Roman neighborhood from the 1st century AD emerged as the excavations went on. Houses, artifacts, shops, mosaics, the largest Roman market square ever found in France, a storehouse, a temple, and what might have been a school of philosophy were all found on 7,000 square meters, 75,000 square feet of the site. Because of how beautifully preserved it was, the location immediately gained the moniker Little Pompeii. The area was inhabited for at least 300 years, during which the locals experienced 2 devastating fires. 10. A lost city. Only an inscription discovered in Nîmes, another ancient city in France, provided information on the city of Utica. On a stela, the name Usetia was listed alongside the names of 11 other nearby Roman towns. For a while, academics hypothesized that Usetia, a town north of Nîmes, was Uzès in the present day. Archaeologists combed the area in 2016 due to proposals to build a residential school in Uzès. Excavations started in earnest because of concern that new construction would eventually engulf the vanished city. They did discover Usetia. The area exposed by the 2017 excavation had grown to 4,000 square, exposing enormous structures. That is all for this video. We will be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time!